The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
All right, everyone. Ready to ditch the winter coats. Today we're diving into something I know you're all familiar with from your travels, especially if you're a fan of the beach.
Ooh, yeah, beaches.
Beaches, exactly.
Yeah.
But we're not just talking about, lounging around and catching some rays.
No.
We're going deeper
Much deeper
than that. We're talking about the main attraction itself, the very thing that makes a beach a beach.
Sand.
Yes. Sand, the unsung hero of a good vacation.
Exactly. Sand. It's something we all know and love, but probably don't give a whole lot of thought to.
Right. I mean, it's just there, right? Like air.
It is. And it seems so simple at first glance.
It does.
But trust me, there's a whole lot more to sand than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to uncover how it's formed, the incredible variety that exists all over the world.
Oh, the colors?
And yeah, the colors. Maybe even some reasons to pick your next beach destination based on what's underfoot.
Ooh, I like that. A sand-based travel guide.
Exactly.
I'm in.
So, ready to dig in?
Let's dig in. I love it. All right, so let's start with the basics. How is sand even formed?
Well, it's funny. We think of sand as everlasting, right? Like it's always been there.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, but actually it's the product of epic, almost unimaginable timescales. We're talking mountains crumbling.
Wow.
Over eons, eroded by wind and water, glaciers even.
Wow, I never thought about glaciers.
Oh yeah, glaciers are a big one. And all of that wears those giant rocks down into these teeny tiny grains we call sand.
So every beach is basically like a graveyard of ancient mountains.
Kind of, yeah.
That's both poetic and kind of mind-blowing. Makes you realize how much history is literally beneath our feet.
Absolutely. And, that history is told through the colors, too, which, as you know from your travels, are incredibly diverse.
Oh, yeah. And I know we've got some real sand aficionados listening, so let's get into the good stuff. Let's start with those picture-perfect white sand beaches. The kind you see on postcards.
Ah, yes, the classic tropical paradise.
Exactly. What makes them so white?
Well, they're often made from broken down coral and shells, which, links them directly to the health of coral reefs.
Which are sadly under threat in a lot of places, right?
Yeah.
I remember snorkeling in the Maldives a few years ago and seeing all that bleached coral was just heartbreaking. Does that mean those white sand beaches are vanishing too?
It's a complex issue, but yes, damaged reefs produce less material for those white sands. It's a reminder that even something as seemingly permanent as a beach is connected to these larger ecosystems and can be impacted by things like climate change.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. So let's talk about the other end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Black sand beaches. I've always found them incredibly dramatic, especially in places like Iceland or Hawaii.
Oh, they're stunning.
They are? So how do they get so dark?
They're formed from volcanic rock. Igneous rocks like basalt or obsidian, the kind of rocks that form when lava cools.
Oh, right.
It's pretty amazing to think that fiery volcanic eruptions millions of years ago are what give those beaches their unique character.
It's almost like stepping onto another planet. Okay, now I have to ask about pink sand beaches. They're so unique. Are they actually real?
Oh, they're very real and very popular.
They seem almost too perfect to be real. What's the secret ingredient there?
Well, it's often due to tiny marine organisms called foraminifera. Foraminifera, yeah. Some species have pink or reddish shells, and when they accumulate in large numbers, they tint the entire beach pink. It's a beautiful example of how even microscopic life can shape the world around us.
That's incredible. And speaking of unique colors, I read that some beaches are even green.
Right. Green sand is relatively rare, though. It gets its hue from the mineral olivine. Olivine, yeah. It's often found in areas with volcanic activity, so it's this fascinating intersection of geology and biology.
That's so cool. You've definitely convinced me that there's way more to sand than meets the eye. It's a snapshot of Earth's history, a delicate ecosystem, and even a potential indicator of environmental change.
Absolutely. And I think it's something we should all be a bit more mindful of, especially as travelers.
What do you mean?
Well, sand isn't just pretty to look at. It plays a crucial role in our lives.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sand is used in construction, glass making, even electronics.
Exactly. But this huge demand has led to sand mining, which can have devastating environmental consequences.
Oh, wow. I guess I never really thought about where all that sand comes from.
Right. It's easy to take it for granted.
It is.
But as responsible travelers, it's something we should all be aware of.
So what can we do?
Well, for starters, just being mindful of where the sand comes from and how it's being managed is a good first step.
Yeah, that makes sense. So maybe part of choosing a beach vacation should include a little bit of research into the source of that beautiful sand.
Exactly. I think that's a great takeaway.
I do too.
Next time you're on a beach, take a moment to appreciate the journey those grains of sand took to get there. It'll deepen your connection to that place and to the planet as a whole.
That's a beautiful thought. I love that. Well, on that note, I think we've done a pretty good job of unearthing the hidden world of sand today.
We did.
It's amazing how something so seemingly simple can be so complex and fascinating.
It really is.
So for all of you sand lovers out there, next time you're digging your toes into that warm beach, remember, there's a whole lot more going on beneath the surface.
Happy travels.
And until next time, keep exploring.
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.